Good evening and welcome to Coffee with your that's weird. Hearing an echo. Your sci-fi podcast where we talk about sci-fi, volunteering, charity work, uh, cosplay and cons, and also different organizations you can be part of. Uh, Today with Drew, will be right back, and John, the vampire from across the seas. Uh, and we're going to be talking about all different types of stuff. Um, let's start this off uh, with talking about what's important this week. This week was the 80th anniversary of D-Day, and they had a major celebration over in Europe, uh, celebrating the survivors that are still alive from World War II. And one of the things that they did was the different European countries' presidents actually met with the survivors and talked to them. And there was a specific interaction. And I'm going to play it and then we'll talk about it. So let me pull that up real quick.
You're the savior of the people. Here's my eyes. Oh, you are how we get. Yes, I hear it. It's my wife.
So Trudeau, the Canadian Prime Minister, and Zelensky both met with the man, and the man wanted to honor Zelensky for how he was fighting to keep his country free. And Zelensky knelt down and thanked the man and said, "No, you're my hero. Without you, Europe would not be free." So, for war heroes and stuff like that, no matter what we are in position, it's one of those things to honor them and remember that, like I said, no matter what level of leadership you are, those men and women that, because there were women in World War II, those men and women that gave that, they gave their all. They were, some of them were as young as 14 years old, and some of them were old as 50 or 60 that left their countries to go fight in the war. And it was to keep everybody free, to stop a dictator, to stop, actually, it wasn't just one dictator, it was multiple dictators that came together to do that. And without them, we wouldn't be as free as we are now. So Zelensky showed what a leader should do in that case. Take oneself out of it and honor the person that should be honored at the event. In recent years, we've seen a lot of leadership not do that. They focus on themselves, and I thank him for that example to show everybody. Um, Drew, did you have anything to add to that?
You mentioned age.
You're breaking up a little bit.
Was fighting the Empire, and it's still, that says a lot. I mean, my natural father was 16 when he was in Europe, so there's a lot of incredible human beings out there that gave up everything or were willing to so that we could be free. And you're right. We need to remember that. That was a sacrifice that we can never repay. But more importantly, it's a statement to the values that we're given. We weren't afraid of words. We weren't afraid of opinions. We weren't afraid of somebody's personal choices in their life, as long as they left it personal and with them. We could all get along. We could all work together. There were a few that decided to bend, misuse, misrepresent rules that had been established. Basically, if it's your business, keep it your business and don't bother shoving it in somebody's face. Your true friends aren't going to care what your personal choices are. You will be a friend. You will be defended by them. You will be supported by them. And it's something we all need to relearn, at least in my opinion.
Okay. Anything to add, John?
No, just giving me now. Oh, as Drew said, this wasn't for them. We wouldn't be here.
All right.
I
do have another video that was published this week from Star Trek Continues, Star Vic.
Mañana.
Yeah, thank you. Didn't want to butcher that name. But he is personal friends of this show and chapter. We have spent, some of us, decades, it seems, but not, I'm exaggerating, but
it feels like
each of us has spent time and given blood, sweat, and tears working with this man, doing demolition, doing set building. Drew and Mike and my brain's not working now. The kid's name. Our newest member of the chapter.
Austin.
Thank you. My brain wasn't working. The three of them have done tours for the last, I think it's 4 or 5 months, once a month, of the set that he built to make fan films. So it's currently moving, and we're hoping it gets closer to us. But he posted a video that I've been talking about, exactly what he posted multiple times, about how sci-fi is about inclusion and caring about everybody. And I'm going to pull that video up real quick, and we're going to play it because it's a topic that everybody needs to hear. So I didn't tell this to Drew, though.
I kind of figured you'd post this one. Go full screen before you do it.
That's what I'm doing.
Hi, everybody. I have something I'd like to share with all of you Star Trek fans out there. First of all, thank you for all of your support and your kindness. I know there are thousands upon thousands of you out there that love Star Trek. And you know, the founding principle of Star Trek, the whole premise of Star Trek, was that mankind, at some point in the future, put aside their petty differences and their greed and their arrogance, and they bonded together. They unified and they reached out into the galaxy to meet new worlds and new races. And the whole concept of Star Trek is inclusion. You guys probably know what IDIC stands for: infinite diversity and infinite combinations. And yet, and this is the tricky part, while there are hundreds of thousands of amazing fans, and we've met many of them here at Neutral Zone Studios, there are a handful. I don't know if they even watched Star Trek, because they do not even for a moment personify the qualities and the philosophy of Star Trek. They're mean, they're greedy, they root for someone else's failure. What is that? How could anyone be cruel and undermining and slanderous and try to hurt other people and claim to even understand what Star Trek was about? I want to encourage all of you Star Trek. You know what? Some of you may not even like me, and I'm fine with that. But let's talk about what's right and wrong. Okay? You don't even have to be a Star Trek fan. This is called common decency. You wouldn't want to be treated that way. Nobody would. But there are literally people out there who can't be happy if they see other people happy. They just need to constantly criticize and find fault. So I want to encourage all of you good, positive Star Trek fans to embrace and embody the qualities of the philosophy of Star Trek. And furthermore, pay no attention, dismiss those people out there that just sit on their laptops and spew garbage and hatred and meanness and literally root for someone else's failure. Ignore them. Don't give them any oxygen or attention, actually, because that's what they want more than anything. We are so grateful for so many good people out there that have been so kind and supportive. And I'm not going to name names. They know who they are, and you might have even seen some of their posts around the internet. But if you love Star Trek, if you believe in the philosophy of Star Trek, don't attack other people. Don't wish for their destruction. That is anything but Star Trek. God bless you guys. IDIC. Live long and prosper. And we wish all of you the very best.
So I don't think I could say anything to make that any better. That man said exactly what me and Drew have been discussing for the last 3 years. That we can't, I don't care what your sex, who you love, what you do, as long as you treat other people the same way that you want to be treated. Don't hate. Somebody's down on their luck, and you can help them out. If you need somebody to talk to, ask. We have a thing, one of our big things is we don't want anybody to leave this world early because they don't have somebody to talk to. And we talk to people from all over the world. You can ask John. We've got friends in probably every continent, and except for maybe unless somebody decided to take a job in Antarctica. I haven't talked to anybody that's actually in Antarctica yet, but that's a goal. But remember, if you need somebody to talk to, we're here. We might not be the richest people, and I know some people can look at what we collect and go, oh, you got a lot of money. Most of this stuff costs pennies on the dollar, and you can ask Drew. If we create it, That's the ones that are normally the ones that look the most expensive. But we don't buy anything expensive. We can't. We're lower class, right? As far as the poverty line goes, but we do something that I think everybody should do, and we go out to help our community. So help others, and I don't care if you got a disability or not. Don't treat the people bad. Treat them like you want to be treated, because disabilities, some of them are invisible. I can tell you, two of the three of us, I think all three of us have invisible disabilities. And one day we might be looking like we're normal, everyday people. The next day we might look angry, and it's not that we're angry, we're in that much pain. You never know. Person that pulls into a handicapped spot and looks fine might have spots where at one moment they're walking fine and next moment they fall over. You don't know that. You do not know what a person is. So do me a favor and start following the edict. Include everybody. Don't judge anybody. That's one of the things that I get from, I don't push religion and stuff like that, but one of my things is to treat everybody like I'm treated and don't judge. Now, I will protect the weak. I will step in. That's a given. But I won't judge people unless they show me different, because I don't believe in that. So that's the one thing. Now, if you would like to meet Vic and have an awesome conversation with the man, he's going to be at BartoCon on August 3rd. Two of the three of us will be at BartoCon too. If I had the money, I would fly John over.
Me too.
Two of the three of us will definitely be at BartoCon. We will be in our Federation uniforms. We were requested to be in our Federation uniforms. So if you're in Central Florida, you're going on vacation and coming to Central Florida, August 3rd, $15. I believe it's under 9 or 6. I can't remember.
Do what?
The kids get in free with a paying adult. Is it 9?
Yes.
9?
9.
I'm going to verify that because I don't want to give bad information. But like I said, this year there will be 4 different guests. Vic, who is a voice actor in a lot of animes. He's also part of Star Trek Continues. The original voice for Lucy from Charlie Brown will be there, and I'm trying to find that post. So give me 1 second, I'll pull that up to show the thing. The bad guy from, I believe, Star Trek 3, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Which we've met a lot. We know the guy personally because, well, we're involved in helping out all the time.
Yeah.
So we know that this person. I'm trying to remember the other person.
Sean, you want to pull that up?
I'm working on it. Can you do me a favor and? Oh,
Look at
okay. Cool. You wanna? Yeah. Go ahead.
There we go.
So Melania Khan.
Khan. Vic Magnan, and
Um,
let's see,
this guy right here is the animator.
Jack O'Harlan.
That's who the bad guy, Star Trek, Superman 2. Sorry.
Bad guy from Superman 2, and
Then we have
Philo
the artist,
Barnhart.
Paula Barnhart, who did Little Mermaid, did Beauty and the Beast, American Tail, Space Age, Dragon Lair. So this man has done art from most of the 90s to 2000s Disney movies. So, like I said, not a bad lineup for. I'm not going to call it a small con because
It is a 1-day con.
it is a 1-day con and it's a local con. It's in a small city, that we will say, but the size of this con and the participation, we have vendors that come 4 or 5 hours from the con. I'm sure Pikachu will be there, which with the Pikabug. We will have a lot of people. I know the 501st will have representation there. I believe Creative for Cosplay will be there, most likely. If not,
We're going to have 2 vendors I know of from the Atlanta area. So
wow. So
that's a lot more than 5 hours.
8 hours. That's a new thing because we helped last year get vendors in and set up. And
FYI, we're doing it again.
I can't get Friday off, but I do have Sunday to recover. Yay.
I'll be there.
But basically, I will be there. It's just I will be sleeping as soon as we get it done. But basically, we have seen these vendors, and the vendors that come in are small businesses. They are not big corporations. Like you go to some of these mega cons and all, and you notice that these are vendors that are nationwide vendors. No, these are local vendors. As a matter of fact, we met people from Orlando, from Tampa area, and these are vendors we talk to, and they know us by name because they specifically remember. Oh, you want that?
Okay, try this one. This gentleman will be there.
Okay.
Stunt driver.
Yep. I forgot about that one.
This gentleman will be there.
Yep. So like I said, it's not what you would consider a small con. It's a local con, is what I'm going to call it, because me and Drew have been in cons in hotels that were smaller. The first con that we went to that was an indoor con together was you could have put the whole vendor room in half of this location. We were that if 2 people were standing side by side on the aisle, you could not pass. So this is definitely a lot better. It is ADA accessible. If you're in a wheelchair, you will be able to get into this con. It's at the Bartow Civic Center again this year. You saw the pictures from last year of us in our Klingon garb and stuff like that. It's again at the same location. So please come out August 3rd and hang out. My brain just went blank. What else were we going to talk about? Neutral Zone is moving. We'll keep people posted once we find out where it's going to be moving.
Oh yeah, I've already been told by 14 different groups I need to tell them right away so they can show up at the studio. So we are working not only with BartoCon, but we're working with the same organization with 4 other cons. Soon to be 5, by the way. Hush, hush. It's secret. And I have been working with the city of Winter Haven to see if I can encourage them to have one here. So,
Right. And
one more twist, rubber arm, get it.
all the cons that we are involved with this organization, BartokCon LLC, every con raises money for local charities. We've been volunteers for now 2 years, I think, and each year they've given to charities. Each con is given a minimum of $1,000 to charity. So it's not, they're not a for-profit con. They are actually, every bit of their money goes to either paying for the bills there or going to charity. So Sean and Lori are amazing people. They care about the community. They care about people. As a matter of fact, Lori now works at Bartow Community Center, or is it Bartow Church Community Center? I can't remember what the exact name is, but it's the Bartow Community Center where they decided instead of each church having a different homeless setup where people could go find food, clothing, stuff like that, they would have this particular group talk to all the churches in the area and said, hey, we want to make one focal point so that everybody knows exactly where to come within Bartow. So we've actually toured the community center, and now Lori, who is the owner of BartokCon LLC, actually works there. So pretty awesome that they're completely involved in the community being a con. And I've met con runners that they don't remember your name if you're there every con. Sean and Lori know who you are. If you're a guest at their con and talk to them, they'll remember you the next time. So it is nice to have that type of leadership involved. We can talk about all the volunteers because we know them personally too. So this group does care about the community. Now,
the cons coming up. I'm trying to find them. There's a couple of other gatherings I'm trying to find.
Okay, while you do that, Drew is the region to.
I'm the sector chief.
Sector 1 chief, which basically is our area. We take care of it. And because of that, SFI, if you're in SFA.org, the database is changing. If you have a family plan on that database, make sure every person on the plan has a different email address and has their birth date listed. If you don't have those two things, the system will not migrate you to the new database when it opens. We found this out because of a post on the Essex Facebook, because somebody wasn't quite sure about it. They did say that it was going to be the email addresses had to be separate for the new database. We knew that. We didn't know about the birth date had to be populated, because I don't know why some people don't put the birth dates in their families added spots. I know me and Drew have email addresses and birth dates on every single person in our family plan. That way, if the person decides that they want to go to Starfleet Academy, they have access to it. If you don't have your own email address, it is more complicated than it needs to be for you to get a log on to that because it's like 7 emails in comparison to you just register. So please make sure you go in, check those things if you're seeing this. I don't care which region you are. I'm just making it a announcement so that we make sure that at least the people that are in our area have that information as well. Did you find what you're looking for, Drew?
No.
I know that I can pull up.
Tomorrow there's one that's in the old mall turned an amusement type center that's in Orlando. It's a Saturday, Sunday thing. The Haven is going to be there. So that's basically covered. We were asked to be there, but I was already too stretched anyway.
Yeah.
And that's the Lego one. So
Conventions. What date is this? Why doesn't this have? Huh. I pulled out the
let me
list
see
of
if I can
cons.
find
It
that.
doesn't have this weekend. Hold on. Let me try a different.
Let me find John. All right. There he is. Give me a second. It's the Brick Fan Expo.
Okay. Yeah.
That's the one that's tomorrow and Sunday. There's a joint Klingon Assault Group Starfleet table there. That's another thing to do. We've been able to work to where we can get both clubs working together. I know a lot of other chapters have done it locally, but we're pushing for international cooperation. If you're watching and you need to know where it is, let's see. Oh, come on. Wait. Where you at, Sean? There you are. Here you go. Slap this up as a banner.
Where'd you send it?
Facebook Messenger. It's going to be a good show. It's going to be a good gathering. If you can only make Sunday, come on by Sunday. Tell them you're with Klingon Assault Group and Starfleet International. The whole idea is we let people know it's here.
There's a con in River City called River City Wrestling Con, June 8th in St. Augustine. There's Card Con the 14th through the 16th in Orlando at Hilton. 14th through 16th, Southern Media Con in Largo. FinCon at MDC in Miami-Dade College. That's June 15th. Space Coast Con, Comic Con on the 15th to the 16th of June. I believe that's in Melbourne.
Yep.
And Bold Matsuri, which is an anime con in Osborne Convention Center in the 22nd and 23rd in Jacksonville, and an anime con or anime festival Orlando, the 28th through 30th, and Tampa Bay Screams 28th through 29th in Pinellas Park, and MetroCon will be the 5th to the 7th in Tampa of July, and First Coast Comic Con July 6th in Jacksonville, and then Infinity Con in Tallahassee June 6th and 7th. And I'm going to stop with this last one in June 6th. We'll talk about the next set afterwards. Villicon, June 6th, Central Florida Fairgrounds in Orlando. So those are the cons coming up. But these will have our chat. In this particular con, we'll have groups from the Klingon Salt Group and the Haven, which are groups that we work with directly. And you will see them at almost every single con that we particularly do. All the 4 that are here will have people from that group as well. So go to the Brit Fan Expo and say hi, say the camp sent us. Or if you're going to talk to the Klingons, the Curse sent us. The House of Chang says, hoopla.
Absolutely.
Okay. So
Well, he's got the link. He says that when he gets home.
Put down your mic. Your mic.
Lee says when he gets home, he'll hop in.
Oh, okay.
Good to hear.
So we'll keep going. Have y'all seen any good TV shows or movies? Because I believe that both of us have seen, or all 3 of us have seen the new Doctor Who. At least the first episode or 2.
I regret to say I only.
Well, I think there's only 3 up right now, maybe 4. 3. The 4th one drops today. So, what did you think, John, about the new Doctor?
Yeah, something different. Jeez. I think they'll ground you really.
It's a little bit hard to hear you, John.
I'm sorry. Yeah, things got to get used. People will get. That's the word. I think people got to get used to.
Okay. It is different. Now, I'm going to ask you a question.
Yes.
The new companion, did we see her origin story in that 2nd episode? Or was it the 3rd, the baby episode?
I don't know. It's more of the it's more of the official. I think they've done the origin story. It's actually the new Doctor Who. It's been the first 3 episodes. The one through Isaac Newton, so they have made Isaac Newton. Isaac in the of course, Isaac the space-based one. This is the cleaner for the beaten one. So we were wondering if she's going to be like one of the villains.
I didn't catch that, unfortunately. Did you catch it, Drew? Because I didn't get to hear
No,
it.
I didn't. It's very, 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 very quiet.
I turned up the mic and turned off turned on the noise reduction.
Let's try again. No, it was. I think I finished off today. We got there's been an actress. There's been 3 episodes so far, 3 different parts.
Okay.
She was Margaret Newton's. She was one of the Margaret. She died in the episode with Margaret Newton, who's housekeeper, and in the episode with the Beatles version, I go to the Beatles the studio. She was the cleaner.
Okay.
In the 3rd episode, she was something else. But we've been thinking, could she be somebody else?
Yeah. When he started doing that search after she left the TARDIS, when they finished with the baby episode, I was like, oh, I think he believes that she's actually from that group somehow. So
Could be.
it's going to be interesting, but it is. I'm enjoying his playfulness. He's a lot more. He's a lot more joyful than most of the doctors are more stoic. And the fact is I'm waiting because in the specials, the doctor split. So now we actually have 14 and 15 at the same time. So at one point we're going to see, but I have a feeling we're going to see both doctors doing something together is what my thoughts were from that.
It could be. Could be in fact. On a
Now, there was another release of a sci-fi show, which was The Accolade. Did I say that right? Apostle, the new Star Wars series.
Accolade, yeah.
The Accolade. The new the star of that particular one we saw in a Hunger Games. She was the little girl from, I believe it was Region 13. And basically, she was the girl that, the little black girl that was in the tree, if you remember it. So she is actually the main star of The Accolade. So it's going to be interesting watching that as well. I've got to catch up on that. What else? Like I actually have been watching some history shows as well that aren't necessarily sci-fi. I watched The Killers of the Flower Moon, which is about the Osage people and what happened. And I watched in the last 2 weeks a series called Made, which the first season is out. I don't know if they'll make a second season or not, but it talks about domestic violence is what that's about. So I've been watching some stuff that has been outside of sci-fi as well, because I'm trying to learn a little bit about different topics. Unfortunately, we don't get a full history about what went on here unless we specifically go out and find it sometimes. So a group that I'm with has been, I joined a group of indigenous people, and I'm starting to learn their history as well, because I really enjoy learning history and I want to see the actual history. I don't want to see something that ignores the bad. I want to see the bad and the good in history, so I see how we got someplace. I'm still hoping that a Stargate series comes up again, because that would be a fun series to see again. As far as gaming goes, I was playing Baldur's Gate 3 and I kind of got frustrated with it. Now I went back to Skyrim. I believe it's 5. And I'm playing Skyrim 5 now. So, and Drew's
We
got
mentioned D-Day earlier. For Star Trek fans, it should be a very, very, very important thing.
And I believe that you have a picture of this guy's son as well.
So do you.
Well,
You?
I'm not in the picture.
Oh, yeah. I'm in the picture with him and Vic.
Yeah. So, yes.
Chris.
Wasn't also Gene in World War II as well?
Yes. Gene was a fighter pilot in the Pacific. A bomber pilot, pardon me.
When you look at Star Trek, we had people that gave everything. And then
Nimoy was in the Army.
Yep. So think about it. Leonard Nimoy, Gene Roddenberry, James Doohan. All of these people fought to keep freedom in Europe. But they also believe that people are different. People should be included. And they pushed boundaries in the 60s that in America were not being pushed at all. They knew that George Takei was a gay man back in the 60s on set.
And Asian, no less. Oh, my God.
Yep. And they didn't treat him any different than anybody else.
Well, look at Nichelle Nichols.
Yeah.
Nichelle Nichols was an incredible performer, but she was also what is termed now as African American. And back then, you didn't have an African American on the stage unless they were on their knees. And he put her in a command position. So,
and a lot of people didn't realize that that communication officer on the bridge was a commander, a command person. A lot of people think, oh, that's just a regular person. Anybody on the bridge is a leader of a position. The nav person was a leader. They might not have been in charge of anything, but that was a leader. They had 4 or 5 nav officers, but the one that was primarily during the show would have been the person during the day.
the one there during Kirk's shift,
Yep,
was in charge of the department.
Yep. And I know Nichelle kind of felt like she wasn't being used to the fullest. And she went to Martin Luther King Jr. and said, hey, I'm going to quit Star Trek. And Martin Luther King looked at her and said, you can't do that. You don't know how much you're helping your women and Black women at that to go forward. And from that, she took that talk from him and went to NASA and go, we need to have more inclusion in NASA. And she started finding the most brilliant people that she could find, and of every race, religion, sex, she found the best and put them at NASA. There are women scientists working on the Mars spacesuit right now, these women engineers
The rover.
are, well, there's 3 women engineers that I know of, 2 of which I know their families right now that Nichelle Nichols helped find these women. And they are making the next spacesuit right now that's going to be for the Mars mission. So even to this day, she's passed on. Her DNA is now in space. This show changed what we have today. Without the show, the computers that we have, the phones that we have would not have ever existed. Just, it's amazing what stopping, looking, and going, hey, that person, because they're different than me, doesn't know what they're doing. As soon as that stopped, we started progressing exponentially faster. So
We had a engineer, African American, on the International Space Station that was also a Star Trek fan, and she was on The Next Generation.
yep.
And she admitted she has stated openly, not admitted, that had it not been for Nichelle Nichols, there is no way, shape, or form she could have been an engineer. Mae Jameson. I mean, that's the legacy that these people who so many people are like, just an actor, just an actress. Really?
Heck,
They
we know
changed so much.
one of our friends is a NASA engineer, a member of the Havens crew, is the NASA engineer. She went to space and then was on Star Trek. That was the most amazing part. So, if you think about it, Star Trek has influenced a lot of different stuff. And I had a discussion, and the person goes, I really don't like Star Trek, but I like Star Wars. I said, well, think about it this way. Right now, we're living in Star Wars. If we ever stop fighting each other and start helping each other, we will be living in Star Trek. And the person looked at me and said, I've never thought of it about it that way. The 2 creators, John, my brain just turned off. Gene Roddenberry and George Lucas both made amazing things. And George Lucas said without Star Trek, Star Wars would never exist. What George Lucas did was he said, I'm going to make a sci-fi version of what's happening in the world.
Yep.
Gene Roddenberry said, I'm going to make what I would love to see the world be. Now, in Star Trek, is it perfect? No, there's fighting. There's people that don't agree. But all in all, the basic premise is let's help everybody. In the long run, that's the premise. In the end, if you remember in Deep Space Nine, the most warring factions, the Klingons, the Romulans, even the Ferengi, were warlords. The Ferengi was supposed to be the big bad in Next Generation, but they changed it to the Klingons. all these groups got together to work together to stop a group coming in to attack the whole. There you go, Nichols and May.
It's incredible events like this that should bring Star Trek fans together more than anything else.
Yep.
Because if it wasn't for us, this would not have happened.
Incoming message.
Yep.
So.
Captain. Incoming message.
Wow. I'm being hit from all sides, I guess.
You're popular today. Anything important?
Whoa.
I didn't do it.
Ouch.
I really didn't do it. Drew's going to be in Pinellas Park at a meeting for the Victorious and the Andromeda tomorrow, about 1 to 2. So that's where he will be. We are working on making an instruction video for the Klingon Assault Group of how to make an AER. That's one of the projects that we're working on.
That's the CAG equivalent of an MSR.
Right. So that is coming up in the future. We will be publishing that. Another thing that's coming up in the future, we're going to work on. I have to make the IKS Cursed YouTube, because we will be starting a Klingon Assault Group podcast, and it will be hosted on IKS Cursed YouTube, and then it will actually be broadcast on the Klingon Assault Group's website. That is coming up in the future. We talked to Jorn and about that last show, I believe it was. And I know Drew had a meeting with Chris, the leader of CAG. And that's future things that we're allowed to talk about. If not, I'm going to get beaten.
Well, we're not supposed to yet, but you let the bag out of the cat.
Well, John let the bag out of the cat.
Yeah, we're trying to bring a lot more communication and a lot more drive to get out together and make a difference.
Yep.
I just decided, I'm a child of that survived the major race riots in this country. And I've seen when the groups of high school students brought more unity than all the adults in China, just about. So I'm using the same concepts and the same techniques. Just let's do this together. And by the way, it's Ray Tessie. He needs a Klingon uniform. Oh my God.
Okay.
Kenpak.
Happy Donut Day from
This one.
How many months do you have?
The shoot's July 7th. There is no way I could assemble this uniform in that length of time.
Go to Mark's house.
Do what?
Go over to Mark's house, take his uniform, and add all your Marine awards to it.
Well, actually, I've got all the Klingon awards here.
I know, I'm just teasing. I'm like, but Mark's uniform is as close to that as you can get. That's a little bit hard to do in under a month. By the way, it is National Donut Day. I just saw that from Pikachu. That's why I popped that up. Oh, it's Pride Month this month, and I think that after we talked about what it is, about the inclusion and all. Get rid of- Drew, this is me as a moderator. I'm Data.
Uh huh.
I love
Life
hate.
forms.
I love banning haters. The one thing that I don't put up with in any of the forums that I mod is people bullying others. And it's a way that you won't be on the forum anymore. Because you can have your opinion, but when you're calling somebody out their name or using negative comments towards a person because of a disability or their life choice, it doesn't fly. So I'm looking. Oh, here you go, Drew. While we're waiting, we'll like this one.
It weren't me.
Look.
Yeah, well, you know, that's what they said about the other one. Lands backing it down.
Yeah. Now, they put this up, but you're right. The booster for what Elon's is it
Yeah.
Elon's booster that lands on the ship upright?
Yes.
So
And if you'll notice, it has the 3 calibrated landing gear inside. So
yeah, they never thought that that would be possible because they've never gotten a booster to actually come back to Earth without just splashing down.
yeah, well, you know, we've had a lot of fun, and we've also had a lot of headaches working to get things where people are working together.
All right.
And like we've worked with enough fan films to kill a horse.
Yeah. One of my friends posted this sign. Whatever you do today, do it with the confidence of a 4-year-old in a Batman t-shirt.
Or the 5-year-old starting the car with the Force in the Darth Vader costume.
Oh, wait. There is a
Remember that one?
yeah. There's a TikTok called named Frank that he's in, I believe, Ireland, but he has the Royal Guard uniform. And watching him interact with the other guards is amazing. Because they actually, 2 of the Royal Guards during the changing of the guard grab him and have him march with them over to the area where they were changing guards.
Is that the little kid?
Yeah.
Oh, I saw the one where they did that.
Incoming message.
There is also in Central Florida, there is a deaf girl and her dad. They do TikToks. She got a cochlear, and everybody started talking and doing all this stuff. And they're like, "Why do you make your daughter do all this stuff?" And he's like, "You don't understand. She's the boss. I do this to make her happy." I'm trying to find the one that I saw. And also, if you are, I'm sending it to you so I can post. This is how you treat kids. You know, you, when you're in a position that of authority or whatever, you don't necessarily have to be gruff and a mean person. Sometimes just being nice and including them makes the whole difference of where, well, this might take a while. What the heck? Here it is. Continue with that. This is how you ensure that little kids continue what you do in the future. And if you watch this account, he just comes in dressed in the uniform and waves to them and talks to them, and he's just in the crowd standing there like, it wasn't one of them. So they broadcast the changing the guards and all that stuff on different social media, and sometimes you'll see the people going up to them, and they'll go up and they'll try and touch the guards and do all this stuff. But I've noticed, big no no, but there are some where I've seen an autistic person that is having problems where they're standing off, but the family's trying to get a picture, and the guard will step closer. But the people that go up to the guard to go, it's like the guards are like, no, and they'll yell at them. But the guards treat the kids that are respectful, they're emulating the guards. They treat the people with special needs or the people that are uh, keeping a respectful distance type thing. And these guards, every once in a while, they reward that type of thing because they're like, this is what you're supposed to do. And it's not something that's done to make a big show. sometimes it's the little things of the guard taking 2 steps over so that he can be better in the picture for a person that is actually keeping the distance. It's showing, hey, treat us the way you should be treating us and we'll help out. I've seen that particular kid be included in 4 or 5 marches just because he dresses up in the correct uniform and stands there like he did. He's not going out of his way to make the guards do it. He saluted the guards and didn't change anything. But in a couple of the episodes, the guards that are in charge will go, hey, come stand between us and march. Just those little things make a difference in a kid's life. And it shows that example that adults miss a lot of times. Like I said, don't go up to the horse and pet the horse while they're on duty. Those are things that will get you in trouble. It's like going to the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier and yelling. You're muted.
That's because I was coughing. You mentioned the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. When my natural father was buried at Arlington, I walked up to watch, squeaking in my braces, and in a very small Air Force uniform to kind of match my dad's. And the gentleman in the old guard, because they didn't have the chains then. It was open. You could walk right up to the carpet they walked on. They did the changing of the guard, and I watched it. And then the senior brought me over to the carpet and literally pointed to this gentleman and told me, match him, and had me march once one way and once the other way with him. And it was just because I showed them respect.
Because of D-Day, they had 4 D-Day soldiers at the tomb this week. 2 in wheelchairs, 2 not.
I saw that.
And those soldiers put the reef down. The fact that we still honor those soldiers years later is amazing. The fact that we have soldiers willing to do the unknown soldier, and it's an honor. And what a lot of people don't know is those soldiers don't quit. When we're battening down the hatches and running from a hurricane, those soldiers are still walking.
Yep.
That thing. Until the eye of the hurricane comes, those soldiers are there. The minute that the eye is getting close, the soldiers go inside, and the minute that the storm passes, they come back out and continue their route.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see a normal person doing that.
I don't see most people doing that.
And people go,
the Royal Guard's the same way.
Right.
Those are some of the most incredible men I've ever seen.
They go, it's just a regular job. No. If you've seen the hours of preparation for, I think it's a 2-hour tour each day.
Yeah.
They spend 8 to 10 hours prepping their uniforms. Then they go through an inspection. If they're not perfect, they're sent back in to fix it. And the next soldier is put in place. And I say soldier, I don't say male soldier, I don't say female soldier. They're soldiers. There's males and females at that tomb. You might not see it all the time, but there are now. So, the Royal Guard, as he said, is the same way. They spend more time than they're at the door prepping for that day. Mm-hmm. It's not you get on at 8 o'clock in the morning, you get off at 5. You got 2 15-minute breaks, and you got this. No, it's a 12 to 16-hour day every day that these people are putting to honor these soldiers and the people that they respect.
Right.
So when you go, show them respect. Vets might not want you to thank them every time. One of the things that I found that they want more than that is when you find a Gold Star family, thank them.
Yeah.
So,
They paid the price.
yeah. So 80 years ago, 80 years, 14 to 50-year-olds got in a boat or got in a plane. And the ones that got in the plane dropped behind enemy lines 24 hours ahead of D-Day. The ones that got in the boat were fired upon.
Yeah, they came in when the stuff was real.
Some of them didn't make it to the shore because they had to go in such rough seas that the landing crafts flipped over. My stepdad's dad was one of those landing craft pilots. When they described what they went through to get there, the practices, what a lot of people didn't know was they practiced that landing for 6 months before they did it. And those soldiers and Navy sailors and Marines, all of them practiced at risk and then added that risk by being fired upon. They went in to stop a dictator from causing more deaths. And they were successful over time. So, like I said, if you know a person that's family member was in the military and passed on while they were in the military, thank them. Thank those kids that might not ever see their mom or dad. Be friends with the vets and be there if they need to talk. Because being there for a vet is more important than thanking them for their service. So, and I'm going to finish. It's been an hour and 15 minutes. Do we got a time on Lee by chance?
Do what?
Do we have a time on Lee? You said he was going to come on.
No.
Okay. I'm running out of stuff.
He might still be in Pensacola. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But
So
I do know that he does want to be on the show.
Okay, so let's schedule with him to find out what time is good for him to start.
Okay.
And we can schedule the next show to do it, or we can schedule a special show. I want to finish up with one thing. Whether you're a vet or you're a normal person, you can message us if you ever feel like you can't continue. We're here to talk to you. But if you can't get a hold of us, 988 in the US. I don't know what it is in Europe. I know that there's a number for Europe for suicide hotline. If you are a vet, I believe it's 988, press 1. And it will give you directions to the VA support network. That is one that I have seen. But 988 in the US is the suicide prevention hotline. There are people in the LGBTQIA community. There are vets on that line. There are normal people that just want you to live. So please say something if you need help. Any other last thoughts before we close?
No, other than stay safe. Take care of yourselves. Peace. Live long and prosper.